Hello, I'm recording this on Saturday the 1st of October in Western Tokyo in Japan, and this is a video on happiness and I guess what I've learned of happiness and what I was learning of happiness. Until my cancer diagnosis in July of this year, my diagnosis of terminal cancer, incurable cancer, with possibly just 7 to 9 months to live from that point, I was very, very happy. At least in the, I guess, couple of years, the last couple of years, I've been very happy, but also the beginning of this year, in particular, end of last year, beginning of this year, I was sort of getting happier each day. So, feeling incredibly happy, but also each day was happier than the previous day, just slightly, but there was definitely progress there. And some of that is through design, through choice, basically. I think that we do need to choose to be happy and make conscious actions to be happy. And that's what I was trying to do, and it was working for me. Might not work for everybody, but at least for me it was definitely working. I read some books on getting my life sorted out, and started taking some action based on what was in the books, and got some results. And a very big part of this is the idea of planning your average perfect day. So for me, an average perfect day is to have time with my family, but particularly have time with my children, both together with the two children, Edward, who is 7, and Jessica is almost 3, but also have time with the two children separately if possible, if my wife can look after them, or the other one, or if the other one can be on their own for a bit. It's particularly important for me to have time alone with my son Edward, because I homeschool him, and we often need to do, or we enjoy doing things like sitting down and doing some programming together, or playing some computer games together, or reading together, or I read to him, and it's difficult for to have sort of a 3-year-old around at that time. Not impossible, but difficult. So think about the average perfect day, and I'd like to eat good food at home and maybe one meal out, and maybe in the evening watch a DVD with my wife, or do some reading. And other people's average perfect day might be very different. Some people like lots of activity, and some people like lots of quiet time. But still, if people really drill down to it, they would have an idea of what they'd like an average perfect day to be. And when you have that clear in your mind, and obviously it's just a general model, and there are many types of different average perfect days you might want, but when you have that clear as a model, then you can start getting towards that, so that you have more and more of those days and fewer days that are not so pleasurable, or not so happy, or not so stimulating, or not so interesting, or whatever. You know, if your average perfect day would be to spend the day at a museum, or spend the day with friends, or go out to a concert in the evening, or be travelling somewhere, when you have that clear in your mind, then you can start putting in what needs to be in place to make that your typical day. And that's going to put some constraints on your life, but because of the positive constraints. So I mentioned in a previous video, one of the constraints I put on my life, sort of about 5 years ago, was that I wanted to always walk my son to kindergarten. So that put some constraints on my life. It meant I couldn't do any type of work that would realistically begin before 10 o'clock, because I had to walk the 30 minutes to kindergarten with him and then walk back, and so be back here about 9:30, I guess, and then it meant I could sort of start doing some kind of work at 10 o'clock. So that's a constraint, but it's a very positive constraint because it meant I walked into kindergarten every day for 3 years, and I got a lot out of it, and really enjoyed that a lot. And I think my son got a lot out of it as well. So average perfect days was something I was starting to get towards, and just for me, one thing that made me really happy was this feeling of progress, that I was getting towards some a better quality of living, and I was enjoying looking forward to it, but I was enjoying making the process work as well. And another concept which I read about, which I again was just starting to put in place, is this idea of dreamlining. And dreamlining is a timeline, a practical timeline for something that sounds like a dream. So it could be a huge thing, like you might want to quit your job and open up a bar in Thailand. It could be a small thing, like you might want to have a 2-day cycling holiday with 5 friends. But both those things involve some multiple steps that have to be taken over time. And for me, one of the dreamlines I was just starting to organise was to do a week of intensive martial art training in eastern half of Japan in a place called Chiba. And I sort of started working out on paper how much this would cost and what I'd need to put in place so that my family had stuff to do and felt didn't feel neglected while I was not there. And I sort of started getting an exercise regime together to make sure that I would be in good shape to get the most out of it, and started saving money. So I sort of started putting this dreamline together. Unfortunately now I can't do any kind of full contact martial arts stuff because of my disabilities, for want of a better word, but basically because of some of the things from the cancer treatment. It's no longer safe for me to do full contact stuff. It could be potentially fatal, so that's a real pity, and that is not going to change, unfortunately. I can still enjoy this martial art community, and it's been hugely supportive. But so dreamlining is a really simple idea, but you pick your target dream, which could be a very big thing or a very small thing or anything in between, and write it on a bit of paper and start thinking what needs to be true for you to be able to do it. And some of those things are going to be very practical things, like you might need a certain amount of money. Don't just guess the amount of money, find the definite amounts of money or amounts of time these things take, because people are frequently surprised how big things like dream holidays often can be done for a lot less money than you imagine. Or whatever it is, if you want to go Formula 2 racing, there are places you can do that kind of thing very, very cheaply just to experience it, if you know where to look. So get some basic facts, start doing some more research, and then map out a timeline. A lot of people think they're going to do everything at once and end up not doing anything in preparation, and therefore they never achieve the dreams, regardless of how big or small. Even small things, if there's multiple steps you need to do, then you need to spread them over a timeline and start taking them. It's no good saying, oh, this isn't a lot of work, I'll just get it all done at the end. At least in my experience and in the observing of a lot of people, that doesn't tend to work. Whatever your dream is, of course you're going to have lots of them, I hope. I hope you start getting a dream line together for each one. If you found this video at all useful or interesting, please do two things for me. One thing is please donate at www.matthewdons.org, MATTHEW, D for Delta, O for Oscar, N for November, S for Sierra.org, because I'm fighting terminal cancer, and your donation will help me hopefully have a bit longer to live, and will definitely make my remaining time more comfortable. And also, if you can leave a comment on YouTube, it's always much appreciated, and it helps a lot because videos with comments on get shared more and get shown to more other people. Thank you ever so much for listening, and more videos coming soon.